We got some big time picks for you coming up. As Caleb, do you want me to share with everybody how you've done in picks? Have you done good? Okay. How's your gambling wallet treating you this year?
Well, my overall picks are good, but my gambling wallet's not treating me well because I only pick on my best bets, and I'm worse on the bets that I think are locks than the bets that I think are not locks. How crazy is that? So last week I went 9-6, but on the bets of the week I went 1-2. So on the year I'm 94-84 on all bets that I've picked, but on ones that I've actually put money on, I'm 13-14. So it's got to come back, and I am still. And by the way, yes, I will be drinking mayonnaise in my coffee tomorrow because
yeah, that's right, because your picks were so incredibly bad.
No, because I had the over for Oregon and Utah, and I think figure out a game this week as we go down the list, and then you tell me another bet I got to do next week if it happens. We're gonna have fun with this. By the way, speaking of mayonnaise and coffee, Titans and Steelers play tonight, but yeah, Will Levis also humiliated me.
What the hell does that have to do with mayonnaise?
Will Levis.
Oh, I got you. Okay,
yeah.
All right. So yeah, he was the guy who likes the mayonnaise and coffee. I don't think it sounds that bad. I mean, it's just a creamer. But I like mayonnaise on crackers, just good old saltines crackers. I used to call that even though I was dating my now wife at the time, but I used to call that the bachelor lunch or the bachelor dinner, when you would just have crackers. This is when I was like 19, crackers, mayonnaise, and Tabasco. Anybody else think that's good? It's good.
I hate mayonnaise, period. I ask for no mayonnaise on my sandwiches when I get them from
so this bet tomorrow really means something to you.
It means something.
Should we do it with Fred or without
Fred? Oh, we
should.
Fred will find it funny because there's a saying that goes around, particularly on like hip hop radio now, when like something is too white, it's like the mayonnaise is just too heavy.
I guess your hip hop sayings. Smoky Mountain Red says I suck at betting. When I bet on what I think is a perfect easy pick, there is an upset. I'm always that guy. I do have about 4 or 5 fills per season that I feel really, really good on, and I'm really good on those. But it's just random. All right, so I want to get to the Tennessee one because Tennessee is a 35.5-point favorite over that C team, and the over-under is 54.5. But let's start with Ole Miss. Ole Miss 3-point favorite over Texas. Texas A&M. The over is 53.5. What do you got?
Ole Miss is going to cover, and it's going to hit the over. I think Lane Kiffin is going to pour it on. I feel like Jimbo Fisher and Bobby Petrino, I've been picking the riff to break apart that team, and I think it finally starts this weekend. Ole Miss covers at home.
Okay, and the ship seems to be sinking at Arkansas, but you like them this week.
Arkansas has only lost one game by more than one score all year. They're a defensive-oriented team. Florida is not a good football team. It's a noon kickoff. Dave, you know this. The Swamp ain't that loud at noon. And so I think Arkansas, reinvigorated with their offensive coordinator fired, Sam Pittman playing ball control, I think they're going to put up a fight, and I think they might lose, but it'll be like a field goal game, and your typical ugly SEC game hits the under defensive game.
Do you remember part of the reason the Swamp was so loud is because you could leave at halftime and go get drunker? It was the only, for like 20 years, it was the only, they just outlawed that like 10 years ago.
Well,
you got to pass out. Can you imagine in the middle of like a concert or something like Metallica, maybe, that they say, all right, we're taking a little break here. Go out and get more hammered, and we'll be back to do Master of Puppets in just a second. South Carolina, 16.5 points over Jacksonville State. I guess I don't know a lot about Jacksonville State. You've got Auburn at 12.5 over Vanderbilt. I do like that an awful lot. Mississippi State, Kentucky, that's a 3.5 point spread. What are your thoughts on the Dogs and Cats?
Yeah,
I think together.
I think Mississippi State should be favored in this game, honestly. At home, at night in Starkville, I think Mississippi State should be favored to win. It'll be another defensive game. I think it should be like a 24-17 Mississippi State win.
Hey, who remembers that line where that guy, that if anybody, I will send you a Hooker t-shirt if you can remember where that line comes from. What movie? Dogs and cats living together. Do you remember? It's a little bit before your time. No Googling. Nope. No.
I'm not Googling. I don't remember it. I'm not cheating. Don't worry.
Okay. Dogs and cats living together. The world has gone crazy. All right. So the best bets, though, this is where Caleb really
let's get a couple of games. Let's get a couple of the major games that are not under my bets, though, that are going to be exciting real quick.
Okay. Give me a couple.
So Missouri, Georgia, I think Missouri covers the 15.5. And I think the game hits the under. Missouri off a bye. No Brock Bowers for Georgia. I think Missouri covers.
I have no reason to say this other than this just feels like the game where Georgia just comes out and does play somewhat close to their level. Alabama, -3 LSU.
And I'm looking for a shootout in this one with Millwall and Jaden Daniels. I think it goes well over the 60.5. And I think Alabama covers. Revenge on the mind, playing at home. I think Alabama wins.
Look at my guy. Fred got it already. It's Ghostbusters. Bill Murray. Dogs and cats living together. All right, here is Fred. We appreciate you being a part of the program. Here is my email, so you can reach out to me and I'll hook you up with a Hooker t-shirt. All right, so give me your best bets. How do you most like to lose your money this weekend?
I'm expanding. I'm tired of losing, so when I'm tired of losing, I bet more. And so
I'm all in.
All right, so first, we already talked about Auburn, Vanderbilt. Auburn's going to cover easily 12.5. How's that not like 17? Honestly,
agreed. What else?
They say it's at. All right, so Colorado and Oregon State. Oregon State's a 13.5-point favorite at Colorado. I think they're coming off an overtime loss and they're visiting Deion Sanders. I think Colorado's going to cover that easily. They're not going to lose by 2 touchdowns to Oregon State.
Yeah, I can roll with that. By the way, you know what they could use in the locker rooms? They could use Herald Group Security Solutions, because apparently stuff gets stolen in the Rose Bowl. Herald Group Security Solutions has leadership experience, specialization, addressing problems through unique mission-specific mitigation techniques, making your children safer at school, one school at a time, working with private schools. But we're working towards public schools. So ask your school administrator. I can make my children safer if you call Herald Group Security Solutions. Why the H have you not done it to this point? Herald Group Security Solutions. By the way, can I tell you my one Rose Bowl moment really quick? That
sure.
I don't get around really anybody and get intimidated. Like seriously, I mean, it's just not me. I don't know why. I don't know if you're like that, but a guy named John Wooden, who you've probably heard of, was at that Tennessee UCLA game in the press box, and he was in a wheelchair, and I wanted so bad to reach out and just shake his hand and say, "This is quite a moment for me, sir." I did not have the guts to do it. I chickened out.
Oh,
and I don't have a lot of chicken out moments. I'm not a chicken out type of guy, but I was like, it's John freaking Wooden. Yeah. And I will tell you too, Pat Summitt had that feel in a room. And by the way, they're not going to wear blue jerseys, but they're going to wear the blue accessories in honor of Pat Summitt, we've been told. Pat Summitt had that effect on people too, where the people that were used to covering big names, she'd walk in the room, and like Mike Griffith, who covers Georgia, I think he needed new pants after she jumped into a studio and did a bit with us when she was doing some Ball Network reads. Mike Griffith got totally scared. My wife's met Lane Kiffin, Philip Fulmer, all those guys, but around Pat Summitt, she was like, "Ew."
I got the Pat Summitt stare one time. I had to interview Sydney Spencer, and I was a freshman at Tennessee, and I didn't know that the whole SID rule of calling the SID. I thought you could just walk on the court and practice and interview people. So I did. It was like my first time. I go to interview Sydney. Like I believe it was one of the SID guy was there, and basically Pat Summitt's like, "I think you can't just walk onto the court and do this." And then the guy was, "Yeah, you're supposed to call us." And then she looked at me. She knew I was a freshman, and she was just like, "Well, now you know how you're supposed to go through this next time." And then she told me I could go ahead and interview Sydney Spencer now.
She was such a great person. She was such a great person. And you know, she wasn't mad at you at all. And I know you got the stare because she was so intense. That's just how she was. But her accessibility, I'm way off topic. Give me your best bets. Let's get your best bets.
So
I want to make some people money.
All right, so I've talked about Colorado and Oregon State. You got to tell me if you agree. Do you agree Colorado covers or not against Oregon State plus 13.5?
I'm not even going to pick because I'm all over the place in Colorado. I think they're the most unpredictable college football program, and I think you would agree with that this season, right?
I would. Okay, so Arkansas, Florida, again, under 50.5. I think this is going to be a very low scoring game. What about you?
Yep, I agree with both of those.
All right, a couple more. My money line. I'm going to do a dog of the week now, and my dog of the week is a cat. I got Arizona upsetting UCLA at home. They upset Oregon State at home last week. I think Arizona is slowly becoming one of the hottest teams in football right now. So what do you think?
Dogs Arizona? And cats living together. Best post on the message board. Nathan says, I cringe when Caleb picks games.
Ouch. What are your thoughts, Dave? I don't need to hear somebody cringe when I pick. You think
Caleb's picks. What do you think, Peyton Manning? Oh, no.
You're like, that is total bullshit.
And Dave is scared to pick with me because he's scared of Pac-12 football. But I got my last one. This is my favorite one. Are you ready? Are y'all ready for some points? Dave, do you like points?
The more the merrier.
USC and Washington. Okay, you got two Heisman candidates, a Lincoln Riley defense.
Penix. Is it
Penix and Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
The over-under is set at 76.5. That over-under should have been set at 90. Honestly, I think there's going to be 100 in that game. I think 100 points will be scored in that game. What do you think?
If Penix shows up big,